Welcome to Bite at a Time Books, where we read you your favorite classics one bite at a time. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. You can sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. You'll also find our new t-shirts in the shop, including podcast shirts and quote shirts from your favorite classic novels. Be sure to follow my show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear what inspired your favorite classic author to write their novels, and what was going on in the world at the time, check out the Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Today we'll be continuing Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 6. Taken Prisoner. On one of the last days of the second week, Marius was seated on his bench, as usual, holding in his hand an open book of which he had not turned a page for the last 2 hours. All at once he started. An event was taking place at the other extremity of the walk. Leblanc and his daughter had just left their seat, and the daughter had taken her father's arm, and both were advancing slowly towards the middle of the alley where Marius was. Marius closed his book, then opened it again, then forced himself to read. He trembled. The Oriole was coming straight towards him. Oh, good heavens, thought he. I shall not have time to strike an attitude. Still, the white-haired man and the girl advanced. It seemed to him that this lasted for a century, and that it was but a second. What are they coming in this direction for? He asked himself. What? She will pass here? Her feet will tread this sand, this walk, 2 paces from me. He was utterly upset. He would have liked to be very handsome. He would have liked to own the cross. He heard the soft and measured sound of their approaching footsteps. He imagined that Monsieur Leblanc was darting angry glances at him. Is that gentleman going to address me? He thought to himself. He dropped his head when he raised it again. They were very near him. The young girl passed, and as she passed, she glanced at him. She gazed steadily at him, with a pensive sweetness which thrilled Marius from head to foot. It seemed to him that she was reproaching him for having allowed so long a time to elapse without coming as far as her, and that she was saying to him, I am coming myself. Marius was dazzled by those eyes fraught with rays and abysses. He felt his brain on fire. She had come to him. What joy! And then how she had looked at him. She appeared to him more beautiful than he had ever seen her yet. Beautiful with a beauty which was wholly feminine and angelic, with a complete beauty which would have made Petrarch sing and Dante kneel. It seemed to him that he was floating free in the azure heavens. At the same time, he was horribly vexed because there was dust on his boots. He thought he felt sure that she had looked at his boots, too. He followed her with his eyes until she disappeared. Then he started up and walked about the Luxembourg garden like a madman. It is possible that at times he laughed to himself and talked aloud. He was so dreamy when he came near the children's nurses that each one of them thought him in love with her. He quitted the Luxembourg, hoping to find her again in the street. He encountered Courfeyrac under the arcades of the Odeon and said to him, Come and dine with me. They went off to Rousseau's and spent 6 francs. Marius ate like an ogre. He gave the waiter 6 sous. At dessert, he said to Courfeyrac, Have you read the paper? What a fine discourse Audrey de Porphyro delivered. He was desperately in love. After dinner, he said to Courfeyrac, I will treat you to the play. They went to the Pont St. Martin to see Frederick Lamberg des Andrets. Marius was enormously amused. At the same time, he had a redoubled attack of shyness. On emerging from the theater, he refused to look at the garter of a modiste who was stepping across a gutter, and Courfeyrac, who said, I should like to put that woman in my collection, almost horrified him. Courfeyrac invited him to breakfast at the Café Voltaire on the following morning. Marius went thither and ate even more than on the preceding evening. He was very thoughtful and very merry. One would have said that he was taking advantage of every occasion to laugh uproariously. He tenderly embraced some man or other from the provinces who was presented to him. A circle of students formed round the table, and they spoke of the nonsense paid for by the state, which was uttered from the rostrum in the Sorbonne. Then the conversation fell upon the faults and omissions in Gaucherac's dictionaries and grammars. Marius interrupted the discussion to exclaim, But it is very agreeable, all the same, to have the cross." "That's queer," whispered Courfeyrac to Jean Prouvaire. "No," responded Prouvaire. "That's serious." It was serious. In fact, Marius had reached that first violent and charming hour with which grand passions begin. A glance had wrought all this. When the mind is charged, when the conflagration is ready, nothing is more simple. A glance is a spark. It was all over with him. Marius loved a woman. His fate was entering the unknown. The glance of women resembles certain combinations of wheels which are tranquil in appearance yet formidable. You pass close to them every day, peaceably and with impunity and without a suspicion of anything. A moment arrives when you forget that the thing is there. You go and come, dream, speak, laugh. All at once you feel yourself clutched. All is over. The wheels hold you fast. The glance has ensnared you. It has caught you, no matter where or how, by some portion of your thought which was fluttering loose, by some distraction which had attacked you. You are lost. The whole of you passes into it. A chain of mysterious forces takes possession of you. You struggle in vain. No more human succor is possible. You go on falling from gearing to gearing, from agony to agony, from torture to torture. You, your mind, your fortune, your future, your soul, and according to whether you are in the power of a wicked creature or of a noble heart, you will not escape from this terrifying machine otherwise than disfigured with shame or transfigured by passion. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books today, while we read a bite of one of your favorite classics. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the next bite of Les Miserables. Don't forget, you can sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. And while you're there, check out our t-shirt shop. You can look in the show notes or on our website, biteatatimebooks.com, for the rest of the links for our show. We'd love to hear from you on social media. You can find us everywhere at Bite at a Time Books.